never cop no drop. Whole mics like ponytails tight.
You are now listening to the Orange and Blue Crew. Here are your hosts, JJ and Joseph.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the first ever episode of the Orange and Blue Crew. I'm King JJ. He's Jay from East New York. Jay, how are we doing today on this great Sunday morning?
I'm so good, man. Shout out to the editor. He still put my name in there, but you know, this is the beta test. It's all right, man. We're gonna get it together, man. Yo, first off, what's up? Talk to me.
I filled out all the disclaimers, so we shouldn't get any copyright claims. I filled out the disclaimer before we got on today. Okay. I feel like we gotta address the elephant in the room. So for those that don't know, I used to work for a Philadelphia-based media company. Unfortunately, that media network has disbanded, so I've decided it's time to fill out my own network. So without further ado, welcome to Empire Sports Media. There's going to be a lot of podcasts on this network. There's going to be a lot of live streams going on. This is my big project, and this is the beta test. This is the big beginning. Orange and Blue Crew. Never thought I'd be talking New York Knicks on here, so I'm very excited. As always, there's my esteemed guest, Jay from East New York. It will be me and him potentially on the weekends or maybe weeknights. We're still figuring that out. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, let's get into the itinerary. We all know what happened last night. It was heartbreaking to say the least, but at the end of the day, there wasn't really that much that the Knicks could do. They were banged up. They were facing a very talented Laker roster, specifically LeBron and Anthony Davis. What were your thoughts on last night's game?
Well, it was, like you said, it was a hard-fought game. It seemed like we never really had a grip on taking control of the game. You know, shout out to the Lakers. You know, some of my keys for the game. I was supposed to record a video, right? But I was so busy yesterday, bro. Like, I wanted to give some keys to the game. And one of the keys to the game, like, I have it in my notes. The Lakers, they shot decent, you know, and the Knicks, we didn't shoot so well, in my opinion. You know, like, we missed a lot of big shots. You know, we made some good ones. You know, Brunson, he was balling out, man. But we just fell short. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Brunson
not going to poo on it.
Definitely balling out. Brunson balled out. 36, 6, and 10 on 48% shooting on 30 double teams. Shout out Jalen Brunson, man.
We just fell short, guys. So, you know, don't feel bad about this. You know, we went on a 9-game win streak. We're shorthanded. You know, like people tend to forget that we're missing 3 guys, actually. You know, we got OG out, we got Grimes out, we got Mitch out. We got iHeart playing on a bum Achilles, you know, like guys are banged up. These are the dog days of the season. So, like, it's always next man up. You know, I'm never going to, you know, say that that's the real excuse, but it is what it is. You know, as the season progresses, we're going to be much better as we get healthy, man. And, you know, the Knicks are a formidable team, guys. We're here. You know, we're trending up. So, you know, one loss, you know, we wanted to push it to 10. You know, the fan base was buzzing for this, you know, especially with all of the, you know, the LeBron talk and, you know, CAA and Clutch meeting up. You know, there was a lot of smoke before this game, you know. And shout out to LeBron, you know, because he hit that big clutch fadeaway, man. You know,
it was that like 10 times, and it gets me so pissed off because it's such a crisp shot too. That's what gets me aggravated.
I remember when LeBron really learned that move. I believe it was Miami. I think he got that from Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was like a guard that'll post you up, you know, turn around and pop it on you. And I think LeBron might have, you know, he hijacked that move from D Wade, and it's been one of his go-to moves ever since, you know. Yeah. So it is what it was. It was a tough one, you know. I was out and about. I was supposed to be going to this event at Brooklyn Museum. I couldn't get in. Me and my wife was so upset, so we just went out to eat. So, you know, I watched the game from my phone, but I wasn't really locked in tune that I'm going to rewatch later on so that way I could take better notes, you know, because I may put out a video of my own to really break down the game in full depth, man. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say, man, because I'm pretty sure you was locked into the whole game. So I want to ask you, what were the keys to the game for you?
So the keys to the game for me was that the Knicks do not have a big man that could have stopped Anthony Davis. This guy was all over the place. I'm pretty sure he had 18 rebounds. I gotta pull up his numbers from last night because that dude was giving me a ton of bad vibes the way he was playing. I mean, the dude was a baller. I mean, what can I say? Anthony Davis for the Lakers put up 12 points, 18 rebounds, played 36 minutes. I was surprised he did not get injured at all because everyone says he's made of glass. He never says Glass Davis, Anthony Glass. Everybody says all that. LeBron played well, I guess you could say, but the one guy that I was worried about going into the game, Austin Reeves, shot well. And that was my one concern. I was worried about Austin Reeves. That guy definitely played pretty well. I'm pretty sure he was shooting like 46% from the field, but 50% from three. That 50% from three is really effective, and that could really mess up the team. But my bright spots for the game offensively were my Nova Knicks. Jalen Brunson, 36, 6, and 10. Dante, 26, 6, and 6. Big Paisan actually played pretty good. He definitely made up for that Pacers game. But the problem with the Knicks is that they were outscored 33-19 in the fourth quarter. That's where it really changed. You could win all the stat battles you want. Like Eddie would always say, the Knicks, they did win the rebounding stats. They won the free throw battle. They didn't win the assist battle, and they definitely lost the three-point battle. But it's the fact that they just went ice cold in the fourth quarter. If you maybe hit some of those shots, or if maybe Jalen Brunson doesn't get all flustered, maybe this is a different story. But it is what it is. You bounce back from this. We got? The Grizzlies on Tuesday night? Is that what it is? Yeah, Memphis Grizzlies Tuesday night. That should be a better game. It sucks that we keep getting these 9-game win streaks and it dies at 9. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of these 9-game win streaks. Like, just get number 10. Just get number 10 at this point. I'm sick of it.
I agree with you, brother, but like, let's be real here, man. And this is something we can't control. The refs, like when you're playing well and you're on a streak, I think the refs like are incentivized to kind of like, make sure that these calls are like a little bit tougher to get. And I think that's what Brunson was going through outside of the 9-win streak. Brunson gets a lot of missed calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of times he gets fouled and they don't call it. We can say the same thing for Julius Randle and a lot of players across the league. But the
100%.
officiating is definitely, something to look out for. But
officiating is ticky-tacky.
Yeah,
very ticky-tacky.
But for real, we just didn't shoot well, man. I'm looking at the box score right now. Brunson had a great game, but he went 1 for 6 from 3. I'm looking at Josh Hart. He went 2 for 6 from 3. Persis Achua didn't hit 1. Our bench didn't score enough. It just was a matter of, like you said, we didn't put enough points on the board when it mattered most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The issue, though, hang on, sorry to cut you off, but the issue is Josh Hart getting the ball is exactly what the Lakers want. They want to double Brunson and get the ball to Hart because they know Hart's not really a shooter like Jalen. And Jalen's out here. I feel like I'm watching Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, the way that he's evading all the pressure from the Laker defense and all these double teams. But, I mean, that's what really killed them is that the Knicks need another scorer. We don't know who. Just get me another scorer.
I agree. And shout out to the Lakers because I like the way they played defense against our Knicks. If you go back and you watch, I believe it was most of the third quarter and some of the fourth, LeBron was basically playing free safety out there. Like he was literally in the middle of the floor and he would just rotate to wherever he needed to be. And the minute Jalen Brunson touched the ball, a second defender was coming.
Right on him. It was either
right on him. So shout out to Darvin Ham because I always attribute the coach, like, you can clearly tell when a coach or a player coach is like, LeBron is a player coach, but you can always tell when a player or a coach is paying attention to detail and they really study. And I think that's why LeBron and AD sat out for this game because they knew the implications of this game. With Rich Paul and Clutch and CAA and Leon Rose sitting down, the smoke about LeBron possibly coming to New York, resurfacing, like, there was a lot of things that made this game more than just a basketball game. And I think that trickled down from the Lakers front office perspective all the way down to the coaching and the game plan. Like I think the Lakers knew they had to win this game. You feel me? For optics, like they had to win this game. It was a must win for us because we wanted to continue the streak. And of course, you want your best player at Jalen Brunson to, look great against the greats. You know what I'm saying? LeBron and AD, they just won a championship a few years ago. They're not the current champions, but just 2 years ago, they won a championship, So you want to see your guys perform really well. And honestly, like I said, I just think that if we had a full roster, I think this game would have went totally different. If we would have had one more healthy person.
I agree.
Add OG, you add Julius Randle to this mix, the Knicks win this game. We fell short offensively. Normally, we score about 116. The Lakers give up 116. They didn't even meet their mark, So like defensively, they played well, because we just missed shots. So going forward, I think that one game doesn't matter, man. One game doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. We're trending up. So don't poo-poo, guys. Don't feel sad. Don't stress out, man. It's Sunday. Have a good day. It's only one game. On to the next one, man.
Like Billy Knick said, he said it's not just doom and gloom. That's not what this is. And I agree with him 1,000%. Now, the other thing that I got to mention, though, is I'm starting to hate Taurean Prince. That dude just goes off against the Knicks. Like, he did it in Minnesota. Now he's doing it with the Lakers. Like, just lay off Taurean Prince. So the next thing that I want to talk about, and this is something that I'm honestly starting to get concerns about. This man came to this team. He was balling out nonstop. But then all of a sudden, something happened after that Miami Heat game. And we haven't seen him since. And I'm talking about our number one trade acquisition, our so-called savior, OG Anunoby. What is going on with this dude's elbow? Because I'm starting to get concerned. It's 4 games now he's missed.
Okay. Now, continue. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Continue.
So no, that's it. Go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. OG he's injury prone, and I think it would be smart for the Knicks to temper themselves and not force him back into the lineup. Elbow injury, I've never had one. I don't really know anyone that had one. I think about baseball when I think about elbow injuries, and it's very serious in baseball when you get an elbow injury of any sort. So being a basketball player, I think that it's imperative because you're using your arms a lot. You're using your arms on defense. You're using your arms on offense. Just feeling that uncomfortableness while you're on the court, that could affect you. So I think that the Knicks are just trying to give OG time to get healthy, because we really need him for the playoff run, The Knicks are playing well, and think about it, man. The end of the month is not too far away. We just got into this month, but they're saying Randall's going to possibly be back at the end of the month. Quinn Grimes is not going to be out forever. Mitch will be back before the playoffs. We're going to be okay, guys. And I think that we do have a tough schedule coming up. But right now, Jalen Brunson is performing, guys. And as long as our others step up and just give a little bit of help, I'm talking about the Deuce McBrides, the Precious Achuas of the world, Jericho Sims, and those guys. The main guys, they're going to show up. They're going to do what they have to do. But the others, if they can step up and fill in while OG and Randall is out, I think we'll be okay, man. That's all I really care about is the Knicks trending up in the right direction. And we're doing that on all fronts.
I agree. So that is definitely a little bit concerning. I hope that OG does get healthy. But the other thing that I do got to mention about this man is when he is on the court, the Knicks' defensive presence and three-point shooting is just elevated. And there's nothing that you can argue about as I'm sitting here talking to a Walmart Julius Randle, who realistically should be back. What is it, next week I'm hearing he might be back? Maybe after All-Star break?
The last I seen was February 22nd.
I could work with that. That's fine with me. Bring him back for the Celtic game. Are you going to be at that watch party that those boys are hosting?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be in the building, man. I'm going to be there, man. I got to come out for my guy, Tony, man. Shout out to Tony Thanos, man.
Yeah.
Nick's Twitter, man. What's going on, fellas?
Godfather of New York, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Man, if I didn't live so far goddamn north of New York City, I'd get my ass down there. But nah, here I am in the stupid ass 845. So it's really not that bad up here, though. It's
What
only
is
like
that, upstate?
not really. It's only like an hour up.
Oh, okay, okay.
We don't consider it upstate, but you New York City people would consider it upstate.
You okay? All right.
Anyway, moving on to our next topic. The number one thing that I've been hearing about nonstop in Knicks Twitter spaces, and I'm sure I've seen you in a bunch of them, you're just lurking sometimes, is that we can never talk about the current formation of the team. We're always talking about making some trades. So, trade deadline is in what, 4 days from now? I'm hearing 4 or 5 days.
The deadline is what? February 8th?
February 8th. So that's 4 days from now. Yeah, February 8th.
Let's make sure. I'm gonna Google it.
It is. It's 4 days from now. I looked this
Okay.
morning.
You done? All right,
So
go have a seat.
you've got all this going on with DeJounte Murray. You had the Zach LaVine rumors get debunked because now he's out for the season. You still have the LeBron James rumors circulating. You've got Jordan Clarkson circulating. You have a lot of things going on because you know Leon Rose is not complete about this Knicks team. And there is no argument about that. Leon Rose is definitely not done making moves. He's definitely got another one up in his pocket. Sorry, my camera's kind of messing up a little bit. Let me fix that. Here we go. And there it goes. God damn it. This thing
Hey,
is
it's the beta test. It's the beta test, man. You see, I'm in my kitchen right now. See, hold on, JJ. Let's see. This is the real world aspect of it. Shout out to the people that's aspiring to start a podcast and stuff. But this is what it's like, man. That's real. When you run a beta test, you got to make sure that your camera, your stand is right. Your tripod is strong. Like I got my ring light and stuff. I got my laptop. I got my mic and all. Like everything is not going to be perfect. Like I have my mic, but I have it. The stand broke, so I just have it sitting, in a good spot where you can hear me. But listen, man, everybody got to start from somewhere, man.
that is true.
That's a part of the grind, man.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Anyway, back to our trade talks. Who are the names that you are considering the Knicks to go for? Because we know they need another shooter, and we know they potentially need another big man. What do you got for me?
Okay, so I'm gonna hold my horses on the Knicks possibly attaining another big on the trade deadline. What I think we need is a guard wing. I would like someone. I know people are they're gonna hate this name.
Let me hear it.
Alec Burks.
Oh my God,
is the perfect fit for this Knicks team.
You're talking depth, right? You're talking depth.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's a certified scorer, man. Like think about what our bench needs most. Deuce is a catch and shoot defender. He's not a facilitator. If you bring in a guy like Alec Burks, you won't compromise Deuce's minutes. Actually, you can play them together because Alec Burks is a guy that can facilitate. He can play off the ball. He can play on ball. He gets steals. He plays defense. I understand that he's a little bit older than Brogdon, but I think that he just gives us so much more, and he's available. Alec Burks, he's not really that injury prone now. Early on in his career, he missed a lot of games when he was in the Memphis Grizzlies and the Jazz, I believe, due to injuries. But now that he's more of a vet, I think he figured it out how to keep his body NBA ready. And he's been balling out for Detroit. I know that they're a bottom of the barrel team, but at the end of the day, the stats don't lie. This guy is shooting above league average from three. He's been scoring. He's lights out, guys. Like, I don't see why people have a problem with bringing that man in. And he won't affect the timeline of this team. He won't disrupt the chemistry. He's only going to add to it. And if I'm gonna be honest, I listen to the journalists. We're aspiring to be the people that we get the stories and the scoops and we put out the information for people to find these things out. But I'm always gonna listen to the guys that I grew up listening to and respecting. Guys like Ian Begley, Berman, and a whole list of guys, and they've been saying it. The Knicks are probably going to add bench depth. I think we all want DeJounte Murray, but I just don't know if the Knicks are going to actually go after him, because when you bring a starter in, that does change the chemistry. You're going to have to implement this player into the offense. OG, he's a no frills type of guy when it comes to offense. He really just catch and shoot threes, get to the basket. A guy like DeJounte Murray, he can do a lot more, and his usage rate is going to demand for him to be involved in the offense. So we're going to have to figure out a way to implement a guy like a DeJounte Murray. And I'm not sure if the Knicks are really ready to make that move, because we're winning right now. You don't necessarily disrupt winning. We look good. We're a few pieces away, and I think the Knicks are going to make their big acquisition in the summertime, guys. That's just my opinion based on what I'm hearing from the professionals.
Who are we thinking here? Let me hear it. Who's the big summer acquisition?
Again, this is not me saying this, but I think the obvious suspects are Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and those are the top two guys. Maybe DeJounte. Maybe they go after DeJounte.
I was about to say, we better have a spider problem again in New York. We better have another spider coming.
Yeah, man.
That'd be nice. But to be honest, I think we have a better shot at getting somebody. Is the Joel Embiid talks dead yet?
For me, it should be.
All right.
I shout out to Joel Embiid, speedy recovery. Shout out to the Philly fans. It sucks that you guys lost your anchor, your best player, but this is why you don't bring in a Joel Embiid. He's currently injured with a meniscus.
That is true. That's a bad injury too.
So you superstars, most superstars, they get injured except for LeBron. He's an Iron Man. It took for him to get to the end of his career, to really miss a lot of games. But I just don't think Embiid should be on the Knicks' radar anymore, unless we're about to go and get the top doctors in the world. I don't know what our medical team looks like, but having a guy like Embiid, that is 24-hour service. He's gonna have to work on his body daily. You're gonna be scared that he can injure himself every single play, man. And if you put all your eggs in one basket and you go and get a guy like Joel Embiid, it's not gonna be for cheap. You're gonna give up a lot to bring that man in, and at that point, if he gets injured and your roster is compromised because you basically gutted it to bring in a superstar like an Embiid, it's just gonna be nasty times in New York. And I don't think the front office, the fans, I don't think any of us want that. We're trending in the right direction, and this is probably my 5th time saying that, and that's because it's the truth. The Knicks are going to be great as long as we do the right things and make the right moves. And bringing in Joel Embiid right now doesn't make sense to me.
I agree, and I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been this excited for a Knicks team in a decade.
Yes,
2013. I was 7 years old when that Knicks team went back to the playoffs. 2013. I will never forget that. My first Knicks game, I remember it vividly. December 15th, 2012, Knicks and the Cavs. I had the flu that day, and I still went to the Garden. And I saw Kyrie Irving drop 41 points on us in the mask. I was at that game when Mask Kyrie started. And then all of a sudden, the game ended on a missed free throw by Anderson Varejao. Back when the Knicks had that sweet orange court. I miss it. It gives me so much vibes back to the good old days for the Knicks, from my opinion. I mean, were you around for the Patrick Ewing days? Because everybody tells me those were the great days for the Knicks.
I was born in 1990, bro. I ain't that old, man. I got to see the very tail end of Ewing, and I can't really remember, to be honest. Shout out to the 90s Knicks, man. But like my truest fandom, like when I'm literally tuning into stats, I know the roster top to bottom.
The 2000s
all the way. Yes, I would say the Stephon Marbury era. You feel me? The Latrell Sprewell going into the Stephon Marbury era. That's my earliest form of Knick fandom. You feel
Very
me?
Nice.
I rooted for those teams, and that team was pretty good. We just we just didn't, we didn't go far in the playoffs, and then we
Yeah.
brought in Isaiah Thomas.
Worst decision ever, but that's a story for another time.
Talk about it, man.
So
But yeah, man, it was all doom and gloom for my Knick fandom, man. I didn't see any of the glory.
yeah, I didn't see any either. But nah, the other thing that I do want to mention is the one guy that I've looked at for the Knicks. I'm gonna get hate for this too. I want Jordan Clarkson. I want Jordan Clarkson because
make a case for it. Tell me why.
I will make a case for it. The thing with Jordan Clarkson is he is a very underrated type of shooter. He's averaging 17 points a game. And listen, if we get Jordan Clarkson, he's not starting. He's a 6-man. And I am willing to give up Evan Fournier and potentially a first-round pick for Clarkson because at the end of the day, I just want a shooter. He's not the greatest shooter in the world, but it's better than having Malachi Flynn out there getting PT. And just for this year, I'm willing to do that. As long as he's not a complete liability and he is a good shooter this season, I'm just hoping that he can, find his groove again. He's currently cold right now on the Jazz, but I think a change of scenery is what he needs to get back to form. That's my case for Jordan Clarkson. Not a crazy case. I just want a shooter.
Okay, so I'll throw you a bone here.
Thank you.
I was watching TNT Inside the NBA, and I forget which one it was, but these are all great basketball players. They literally compared Jordan Clarkson to Jamal Crawford.
Wow.
He's a professional bucket getter off the bench.
Wow.
This is how they describe this man.
Wow. But that means it's set in stone. It is set in stone if you're comparing it to the Knick great Jamal Crawford.
Listen, man, I like Jordan. I like Jordan Clarkson a lot. Okay, so like Kobe is my GOAT, man. And Jordan Clarkson, he was one of the pups that played with Kobe. So like him and Josh Hart, Randall, like I was watching those guys when they were just babies in the league, and I think Jordan Clarkson has really rounded out to a really great player. And I would say he's not a shooter, he's a scorer. He can get you a bucket. He takes a lot of shots, but most of them are gonna go in, or he's gonna get to the basket, draw a foul. He'd even facilitate some, So I wouldn't be opposed to Jordan Clarkson, especially if he's bolstering our bench. But I don't see it happening, man. I think that Danny Ainge and Leon Rose, like they both want to win the trade. Danny Ainge is known for like wanting to fleece people in whatever trade he makes. So you got to be careful dealing with a guy like that because he's always going to overcharge unless the organization says, you know what, hey, we're going to become sellers, open up the phones, and whatever the best offer is, like without fleecing, just take it. If that happens, I think the Knicks can get something done with the Utah Jazz to get a guy like Jordan Clarkson. There's been a lot of smoke there. They've been linking Jordan Clarkson to the Knicks for some years now, actually, One way or another, he was linked to us as a possible interest. So it's not far-fetched, but, I just don't think the two camps of Leon Rose and Danny Ainge, I don't see them getting a deal done unless it's on equal ground,
Yeah. And I see what you're talking about.
It's not going to happen for me.
That's all right.
So shout out to Jordan Clarkson, man. He's definitely one of the top bench scorers in the league,
Yeah. I just think that would be a good option because he could help out DiVincenzo a little. Because let's be honest, right now there is way too much pressure on Dante DiVincenzo. Like it's expected for him to hit that elbow shot almost every time he shoots it now because he's got such a big green light. And I'm not dissing Big Paisan. I love the dude. It's my Italian brother. But at the end of the day, though, you can't be relying on a guy like DiVincenzo or even Josh Hart. There is way too much pressure right now on Josh Hart. And I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm more in you bring in a DeJounte Murray a little bit for the simple fact that it would push Dante to the bench. And pushing Dante to the bench bolsters our bench a lot.
It does.
Like when Mitch comes back, iHeart has been a complete godsend for us. But our bench unit when you put a Dante DiVincenzo and an iHeart and a Josh Hart as your bench unit, like opposing teams, they're gonna have fits, man. They're not gonna be able to deal with that. Then when you got guys like Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride on the defensive end, you're gonna destroy these guys, man. Like,
here's what I gotta say to that. I need to stop you. I'm gonna throw out a crazy take for you.
Talk to me.
Realistically, I want iHeart starting even when Mitch is back. I want Isaiah Hartenstein to be the starting center, man. Mitch can't stay healthy. Mitch cannot stay on the court. I would rather have Mitch as a backup because he's coming off of a 5-month-long injury. That is my status on that. And honestly, trade him in the offseason. He keeps getting injured, and it's killing this team left and right. Thank God for Isaiah Hartenstein.
Thank God for him. I'm somewhat. All right. So I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
You emotionally attached to Mitchell Robinson.
No, it's. I tend to try to be a realist, and every time Mitch goes down and comes back, what does Tibbs do? He puts him in the starting lineup. Now it may be on minutes restriction, or but when Mitch comes back, Tibbs is gonna start him. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm just looking at the history of it, So shout out to Mitch, get healthy, man. But for me, Mitch and iHeart are two different sides of the coin. And I'm going to have to pull Tom Thibodeau's coattail a little bit because I feel like he needs to get in his coaching bag just a little bit more, because when you play against different teams, you should be willing to adjust and, move pieces as you see fit. Now, some guys are in the belief that you don't change things. You let people conform to you. You let them make the change. But me, I'm a guy that I like to have multiple tools that can do different things. You feel me? I'm a Swiss Army knife kind of guy.
Swiss Army knife.
So if you want to, if you're playing against a team that likes to run the floor and they play small, then in my opinion, you play a guy like Josh Hart because he can. I mean, you play a guy like iHeart because he can go on the perimeter. He can run the floor. You know what I'm saying? He can play with that pace. A guy like Mitch, you play him when you have a line when you're going up against a lineup with like two bigs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you play a guy like Mitch because he won't compromise you, because on the defensive end, he won't be a liability. You know what I'm saying? Mitch can guard the perimeter, but he's regressed in that area, and iHeart does that really well.
That is true.
And offensively, iHeart just gives so much more.
Also, he's averaging like 12, 13 rebounds a game. I mean, what more can you say about that? So, on to our final topic. As we all know, we took a bad loss to the Lakers last night. But we're not here to talk about losses. We're here to talk about the future. We're here to talk about what comes next. And next up for the Knicks, they are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday night back at the Garden. Let me get your thoughts going into this game as the Knicks try to start up another win streak.
Listen, total annihilation, man. This is the Memphis Grizzlies without Ja Morant. I understand they got Triple J, I believe he's CAA as well. Over the summer, I thought the Knicks might have went after him. That was when I was on my trade Randall.
I've been on the trade Randall train for 3 years now. I'm the biggest Randall hater on the app. And last night, you missed it. I formally apologized to Julius Randle for all the shit I said about him.
Me too. I had to apologize to Precious Achua of all people.
I refused to doubt Precious. I knew a guy like Precious as a first name that he was going ball out. Yeah, I had a feeling about him.
Yeah, I you know what, man? Me being a realist, I went to a couple Raptors fans and I was like, hey, what's going on with this guy? And they all just was like, he's terrible, So I kind of ran with it, because I'm like, hey, watch this guy.
Fans. You never listen to the opposing fans, bro. You never listen to you have to see it for yourself. That's the thing. Now, I've been on the Julius Randle trade him train since 2019. I hated him ever since we got him. And because here was my issue with Julius Randle. Every time I tried to like him, After he did something good, he would do something stupid the next game, make me hate him again. That was my issue with Randall. Now, going into this game for the Grizzlies, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still without Desmond Bane, if I'm not mistaken. I think Desmond Bane's still out with injury. Ja's done for, how long is Ja out for? Ja's out for a minute.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back until like next season, training camp or something like that, man.
Training camp. So
yeah, he tore his labrum.
Yeah, those are two of your bigger players for the Grizzlies. So I'm expecting, I want that rapid fire shooting again. I want Big Paisan. He's got to step up this game. The Knicks got to shoot better than 19 points in the fourth quarter. They definitely got to step it up. I think there is a good chance that we will get to see, we'll definitely see Malachi. We might see Taj. We might see the guy that apparently should be modeling underwear, according to Brutus, Ryan Arcidiacono. Still the greatest Twitter moment of all time. I don't know if you were there.
Shout out to Brutus, man. Yo, he's so funny because I you know what I think he's trying to say. You know, and my culture, you know, where I'm from, we tend to associate guys that have good looks with being underwear models. So I think that's what Brutus was trying to get at, but he just was doing it in a very, you know, backhanded, facetious kind of way. Shout out to the OG Brutus, man. Yeah, but Ryan Arcidiacono, man. It's not that hard, guys. You got to try, you know, you got to work on your pronunciation, man. It's not hard, man.
Hey,
like, Ebony, you know, that's why I love him, because people butcher his name so much.
Here's the thing. If Ebony can do it, anybody can do it.
Shout out to the Queen, man. She said it like 3 times. I like that video. And
hang on. There's 2 queens. Who's the queen? Is it Ebony or Nikki? Which one?
All right. So I'm gonna give you a little hint. All the women are the queens, brother. All the women.
Here's the thing. All the women are the queens. All the men are the kings. And if you're not a Knicks fan, you're not a king or a queen. That's a fact.
Talk about it. There you go. You got it. That's it. That's how it is, man. That's just what it is, man.
But anyway.
Yeah, so I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think would be the keys to the game for the Knicks against the Grizzlies? I honestly think on our worst day we're gonna beat these guys.
Worst day. So I'll tell you what. You say worst day. The last thing I need is for the Knicks to shoot 21% from the field again, because that was outrageous against the Pacers. We did not deserve to win that game against Indiana. But the fact that it was against the Pacers made it so much better. Because Jalen Brunson, a wise man named Jalen Brunson once said, as far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to beat the Indiana Pacers. And that's how I feel. I feel the same way about the Pacers. But back to the Grizzlies, the keys to the game are simple. You have to stop Jared Jackson. Mm-hmm. If you don't let him get inside the paint, you don't let their shooters shoot, and you go out there and you don't make any mistakes, I think we could be having ourselves a 20, 25-point win over the Grizzlies. I'm not going to say that because the Knicks are... In previous years, the Knicks are really bad at blowing out underperforming teams. I mean, I'm not going to say the Lakers are underperforming because they did have LeBron and Anthony Davis. And that's stupid. They legit sat out the Celtics game just so they could play the Knicks. That's what I hate about basketball nowadays. You got all these guys sitting out. There's no loyalty anymore. Like, it just, except in New York, apparently, because the Knicks apparently are the most loyal team.
We were spoiled, man. Guys like Jordan and Kobe, Tim Duncan, these guys were not going to miss a game. Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal, man.
Yeah,
you know,
you, my friend, were spoiled. I'm sitting here, and this is my generation of basketball, and I hate it. I hate it so much. It almost made me stop watching basketball entirely. Thank God the Knicks got good again, or I probably wouldn't be watching basketball. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not the biggest basketball fan in the world, but like, for example, if my football team was bad, I'd still watch football because I love the sport. Basketball, I don't feel the same way about. Like, the Knicks keep me watching basketball. If the Knicks were bad, I would watch Knick game and Knick games only, and I wouldn't give a crap about basketball. But now that Knicks team's starting to get good again, I mean, I feel like I'm 8 years old again watching the Knicks. So that's my take on how much I hate basketball nowadays because of how soft the league is and all these players sitting out and all that BS. But I think this is going to be my sleeper of the game. I'm expecting a big game out of Deuce McBride, man. I think he's going to shoot lights out. I hope he plays well. I think we might be getting Quentin Grimes back on Tuesday, is what I'm hearing. Unless he's got he got a long-term injury or a short-term injury?
Oh no! It was a sprain or something like
Oh,
that.
then he'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah,
He'll be
it's
back.
minor, man. It's not major. I think the Knicks are just being cautious, especially with Grimes, because he may very well end up traded. So I think that they're just right now the Knicks are holding everything close to the chest because the trade deadline is approaching, and we're in the dog days of the season. So like guys are gonna get nicked up. No NBA team goes into the playoffs 100% healthy, even if they have every man on the roster ready from top to bottom. There's always
Yeah.
going to be some little knick-knack. Your back is going to ache. There's going to be something, man. I listen to a lot of NBA guys, and they literally say it. Around this time of the year, this is when a lot of injuries happen, or if you're already injured, teams get really, really frugal with putting you out there on the floor, man. I mean, not to bring him up, but look at Ben Simmons, man. He can't stay on the floor, guys. He played what 2 games, 3 games, right back out.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they rushed him back, but the Nets are spiraling. So I think he wanted to come back, but unfortunately, that injury bug, man. Nobody's safe, man. Nobody's safe. Shout out to Zach LaVine and the Bulls fans, man.
Yeah,
Wishing a
man.
speedy recovery for him. And that was huge because that's actually going to change a lot. Like
that was the guy the Knicks were after, and it was the same BS last year. Last year, I was hearing was LaVine to the Knicks, LaVine to the Knicks. But now,
yeah, man,
we don't need him.
I personally was never on the LaVine train. Shout out to my guy Deej, man. But he spent about 2 years, telling us like, hey, LaVine is probably gonna be a Knick. And I think the only thing that really stopped it was, the whole CAA clutch drama bullshit. But for real, LaVine, he didn't move the needle for me. He is a scorer.
Yeah.
He can score in bunches, but look where he at right now.
We would have to give up a premium to get him, and I'm not willing to give up that premium.
No. The Bulls were trying to give away assets to get off LaVine. That's what I was hearing. It's the complete opposite because they know he's damaged goods.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then give us freaking Patrick Williams and call it a day. Patrick Williams and Kobe White for 2 first-rounders. I don't care. Call it a day. Anyway, with all that being said, my final thoughts on this Grizzlies game is that you got to attack the paint. You have to make Jaren Jackson work. And once he gets out of that game, you attack the basket. I'm expecting Precious Achiuwa. He's probably going to start again. Hartenstein, I'm looking for another 13, 14 rebounds. I mean, 19 rebounds was outrageous. I'm still expecting him to play well. And then all of a sudden, you've got DiVincenzo. I call him Big Paisan because that is my Italian guy. Shout out my boy Tony. I'll be catching you down in Little Italy very soon. But I'm just going to say this. The Knicks absolutely have to win this game because it will set the Knicks have a very easy stretch coming up after this game because I'm looking at it right now and I'm seeing the teams that we're playing after the Grizzlies. We got the Dallas Mavericks who are underperforming this year. We got Dallas.
We owe them one.
We do owe them one.
We got them one.
Yeah. We got the Pacers again. And if we could beat them with an 8-man roster, imagine we could do probably with OG and Grimes back. The Rockets? Oh my goodness. The Houston, that's gonna be a crime against humanity, how bad that game's gonna get.
Tari Eason is another guy that Knicks were possibly looking at. I believe he's a clutch client. But shout out to my guy D Black. He was telling me in the DMs that Tari Eason, he's in a very high percentile for offensive rebounding as a wing. I could kind of see how you would fit that into this Knicks offense because a guy like Josh Hart, who's undersized and rebounds well, you pop in Tari Eason, there you go. Now you got another guy that's basically like he gives you intangibles, I think that's what the Knicks are looking for. They're just looking for tough guys that do specific things that can fit around Brunson.
I agree.
And if Tari Eason can knock down the shot, which I think he shoots the 3 ball at a decent clip, then I wouldn't be opposed to the Knicks bringing him in, because he's young and he actually can help the team in areas that we need, and he's not going to be taking away minutes from our main guys. I wish Tibbs would open up the rotations just a little bit. Give us a 10-man rotation some nights, maybe 11 if you're feeling good. That's just my opinion, man. But he has his 9-man set and it's been working. So I don't know from a businessman standpoint. You know what I'm saying? If I'm using a specific program and that program is working for me, why stray from it? So I can't really go too hard at him for running with the 9-man.
Yeah, stick with what you know, and that's how it's gonna go. What are your takes before we wrap this show up? What are your takes on this Grizzlies game?
Again, total annihilation, man. I haven't worried about the Knicks losing a game since the OG trade.
That's amazing. We were talking about a mediocre season with RJ and IQ developing well, and now all of a sudden here we are, and we're the NBA's juggernaut all of a sudden.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I wasn't the only one, but I was one of a very select few. I thought the Knicks were going to win 50 games with RJ and IQ on this roster because I was expecting RJ to take a big leap. And
I said 46. I said 46 and 36, fourth in the East. That was my prediction.
That's not too far off. The first 5 games, RJ looked exactly how I wanted him to look. He looked like Jason Tatum Jr. That's how he looked to me, man. I was so upset after that migraine stint, man.
Then after that, I just went the typical RJ Barrett slide.
Yeah, man. And I think he must have knew the writing was on the wall. I think he might have realized, like, my days are numbered here, man. And shout out to RJ. Get well. I think he's having a knee issue. Shout out to IQ. He was having what is it, a hip thing?
Pretty sure it was
a thigh. It's a thigh.
Thigh.
Yeah, it's a thigh. So shout out to those guys. Get healthy, man. I'm gonna watch you guys from afar, but like after the trade, I would tune in and watch a couple Raptors games, but I can't do it, man.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not.
I can't watch another NBA game if it's not the Knicks. I can't do that. I don't like basketball that much. That's my issue. Now, with all that being said, it should be a good game against the Memphis Hustle. Very much looking forward to this game. There's definitely going to be some more Twitter spaces. And this is not the only podcast. We're going to come out with weekly episodes. So with all that being said, Jay, I appreciate you joining me for the first episode. I think today was a great success.
Listen, man, I'm always going to support. Like, shout out to you, JJ. You're inspiring me, man. We here. We made it happen, man. We were supposed to got it done a little bit earlier. You were supposed to do it yesterday, but we here, man.
It is what it is.
I appreciate you, brother, for having me on. It's an honor to be on for the first episode, man. I'm definitely going to be spinning back a lot because, I lock in with people and when I reach out to them and I check on them and I see that they actually trying to grind and they got stuff that they want to do, I like the help, man. That's one of my biggest things being a part of Knicks Twitter.
I appreciate that.
Support is free, man, and I'm always gonna assist in any way I can.
I'm gonna leave you off with this. You're gonna be back here a lot more because we're co-hosts. This is our show. This is not just my show. This is our show.
Yeah, talk about it.
Orange and Blue Crew. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching our debut episode. As for Jay, I'm KingJJCegs. You can find us all on Knicks Twitter. Drop a like, subscribe if you want. And it's going to be orange and blue skies from here. Nobody panic. It's just one game. We'll be back. We will probably be back sometime next week. Orange and blue skies. Have a great day, and let's go Knicks.
Yeah.